And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. We are so happy to welcome Joanne Carpenter and Christy Woods, both from Refuge of Hope. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Joanne, you are a familiar face with Refuge of Hope. And Christy, you are a new face with Refuge of Hope. Tell us a little bit about this new development.
Sure. So Refuge of Hope is expanding, as we'll get into a little bit here in the future. But part of that was bringing on a new family member on the team. And the opportunity seemed to be just something that was really calling to me. And I felt the Lord had equipped me to do what they were seeking to be done. And so here I am as the new Director of Community Relations with Refuge of Hope Ministries. And
Very
it's just
awesome.
Gracious to be part of it.
Well, we will find out a lot more about what that role is going to entail, but let's talk. We've got lots of territory to cover here this morning, like always. First of all, let's get this out there. You've got a spring banquet coming up. Let's talk about that. What's going to be happening where and when, and how can we participate?
Our spring banquet this year is April 24th at the Hartville Kitchen, kicking off around 6 o'clock in the evening with another delicious meal by the folks over at Hartville. And we just appreciate going there and that whole venue and atmosphere. This year, we're so excited to announce that our program is going to be Tim O'Neill, Yolanda Hicks, and Scott Schneiders, all staff members from Refuge of Hope, giving our guests a little insight on what happens behind the scenes in each of their ministries at Refuge of Hope. And we're so excited to give this firsthand perspective. And Yolanda might even be sharing a couple of her secret recipes from the meal ministry as well.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's possible then we could possibly get some behind the scenes today, a little sneak peek at what does happen behind the scenes. Like these recipes, what will she be sharing with us?
Well, I don't know if she's really decided.
Okay.
But we have a pretty awesome meatloaf recipe, our homemade macaroni and cheese. So I'm not sure what she's going to choose to share. So I want it to be a surprise that evening.
All
So
right.
y'all just have to attend.
That's it. Okay. Well, the food there is very, very good, isn't it? Talk about that a little bit.
Sure, I can speak firsthand. Having just been there a week, I have been pleasantly surprised every single day when they invite me to come and have lunch there with the men. And the macaroni and cheese was one of the things that Joanne alluded to. And I'm personally hoping they share that recipe because I didn't have the privilege of preparing that particular meal, but I did have a little taste of it, and it was fantastic. So they're meals to look forward to for sure.
Is that part of your getting acquainted with everybody? They put you to work in the kitchen?
Absolutely.
Oh,
and
how fun.
I want to know how things work and how we bring volunteers in and see firsthand the things that they're doing and how we're working with the men and feeding the community hot meals. Men, women, and children are served these hot meals throughout the week. And so on Wednesday of last week, I had the privilege of not only preparing that meal, we made a taco casserole that particular day and had chips and salsa and some fun stuff, but then serving the meal itself. And it was just what a well-oiled machine that kitchen is, let me tell you.
Yes, and a great place if someone is looking for a volunteer opportunity, just a great place to be able to come in. And you treat your volunteers so well and plug them in so well.
We certainly try to do that. Volunteers become a member of our family. Member of our Refuge of Hope family, just like our dinner guests and men who stay in the shelter. And once you come in and volunteer, you want to come back for more. You typically come to be a blessing to others. And what usually happens is you leave with the blessing in your heart.
Isn't that just always the way?
Yeah, it's really cool the way that God just has that all happen.
You know what else is very cool, and I've said this before, I love the way you refer to clients as dinner guests. Why, that's specific and that's deliberate and intentional. Why?
It is. We started about 9 years ago changing some things in the meal ministry, the way that we served. And the motto in the kitchen was we will serve every meal with love, compassion, and respect. In order to do that, you do have clients, you have customers in the business world, but we're inviting people to come into our home, our Refuge of Family home, And we want people to feel very special while they're there. And guests encompasses that feeling. We're inviting people to be guests in our home. We're inviting people to receive the love of Christ while they are there. We don't want to judge people, but we certainly want to help them and be the hands and feet of Jesus while they're in our home. So guest just seemed to be the appropriate word.
Mm-hmm. And something so symbolic when you're talking about sharing a meal, breaking bread together, nourishing someone. That's happening on a physical level, and it's happening on a spiritual level there as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's definitely happening.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. Well, let's head back to the spring banquet as well. We're talking about feeding guests. So we're going to get a sneak peek behind the scenes of what's going on. What a perfect idea for a program. Great Hartville Kitchen food. Is this a ticketed event or is this a sponsored underwritten event? How do we go?
We do want to make sure that folks are RSVPing so that we can have an idea how many people to expect. But we do this at no cost, so you can attend at no cost, with the thought being it is a fundraising event. So be prepared to be involved on a deeper level with the ministry through donations and supporting the men, women, and children that we serve through Refuge of Hope. So if you want to make reservations so that we can anticipate having you there and celebrating the good news of what happens with Refuge of Hope, again, it's Tuesday, April 24th at 6 o'clock at the Hartville Kitchen, and you can call Julia or Carol at 330-453-1785. 453-1785, or you can find refugeofhope.org. There's information on our website.
Okay, and can you play online as well, or just make a reservation, pay over the phone? How?
Well, again, there's no payment accepted because
you
it's
said that.
No cost.
I just wanted to repeat that. That's right. There is no cost.
It's worth repeating.
Yes, it is.
Free meal at the Hartville Kitchen.
Awesome.
So that's exciting in itself. But again, just knowing that when you come, you have the privilege of being a part of really great things that are happening in our community, and we'll ask for your support at that time.
It's an opportunity to partner and to be a part of something so much bigger than ourselves and so great in the community. Let's talk about some of those great things that have been happening. Take a look back at 2017. What are some of your results?
Well, we are the only homeless shelter in Stark County for men. If you're a man, you're homeless, Refuge of Hope is the place that you come. And what a place it is. There's nothing better than hearing a man saying, this is nothing like I thought it would be. I thought I'd be in a corner sleeping on the floor on a piece of cardboard. I have a bed. I have a shower. You gave me clothes. I have 3 meals a day. You have counseling. You're helping me. So there's nothing more pleasant than that and joyful to hear the tones in their voice, except that when they move out into their own apartment.
Right, that's even better.
Last year we moved 126 men from homelessness into an independent life.
Say that again. How many?
126 men
That's
into their
wonderful.
own apartments
Wow.
after staying at Refuge of Hope.
Now, one of the most tragic conversations I think I ever had with someone when I was helping with doing some furniture distribution to people moving out of a homeless shelter. And one of the people in a shelter said, "Who's that for?" And I said, "Well, it's for you when you move out." And said to me, "Oh, I'll never move out. I'll never." How do you get that mindset, that mentality of I'm stuck, I'm a homeless person, and this is my destiny? How do you move somebody beyond that point to that wonderful day of moving on to their own permanent housing?
Well, it's definitely a process. Typically before coming to the shelter, you're homeless. If you're homeless because of an addiction, you tend to isolate yourselves. Even if it was circumstantial, a situational poverty circumstance that caused you to be homeless in the first place, you'd still tend to isolate yourselves. You cut yourself off from family, from friends. Then you come into the shelter. Wow, now you're living with 50 other guys, and you have the meal ministry and the staff, and now you have this huge family. So you adjust from isolation into a big family. Then we talk about moving out. Oh, I don't want to move out. I like it here. I feel safe here. I'll make better choices if I stay here. And that's not what we're about. We want the men to progress. We want them to learn how to live on their own. We want to build a solid foundation for them so when they do move out, they know, first of all, they're still connected with us. You're part of the family now and forever. So we're here to support you no matter what you need. We're here to help you any way that we can. But you can do this. Mm-hmm. You can do this. And ultimately, we try to share the love of Jesus with them so they understand through him you can do all things.
Right. Do you keep in touch with these gentlemen after they move out? You are there as a support system, and in what ways are you able to help them once they're trying to be on their own?
We have several ways that we do keep in touch with the guys, and it's interesting. I receive a text every now and then from one of our former residents. I helped him get a bed frame, and I took it over to his place where he was staying. He came downstairs to take the bed frame upstairs, and sometimes he'll text me how he's doing or he's not feeling well. Could I pray for him today? We have other activities that we include the men that they can come down. A lot of them come down for the meals to stay connected. Mm-hmm. A lot of them stay connected with Scott Schneider's because he was their mentor for the time that they stayed with us. They make friends with each other, and then they come down in pairs. So they find their own way to stay connected. A few guys, they just want to move on, and they don't stay connected. But they always have, in the back of their heart, the knowledge of, if I need them, all I have to do is call.
Mm-hmm. It's almost a safety net for people with no safety net. It's just you are there, and they just maybe the knowledge of that, as you say, in the back of their minds, that's enough. That's just enough to be able to move forward. I want to go back to something you mentioned. Some of homelessness is caused because of addiction. So I'm guessing that there's got to be a lot of collaborations between Refuge of Hope and then some of the organizations that address that specifically to be able to work together and partner together in addressing it in our community. What organizations and how do you do it?
Well, there certainly is. First of all, no one agency can address all the issues of homelessness, addiction, and poverty issues in our city. Mm-hmm. It takes all of us working together. It's a community issue. And we do network with a ton of different agencies. And again, Scott Schneider's heads all that up. You come in and sit down at his desk, and he instantly does an intake with you, and it's like, we need to connect you with this agency. We need to connect you with this agency. So that's very important, the collaboration that we have with Coleman Behavioral Health, Quest, just to mention a couple that we deal with. Men's Challenge. Maybe they just need to get back in the workforce and they need to work on a resume or get some job skills. We have our own life skills program at Refuge of Hope that we started, and Tim O'Neill will share some of that at the banquet. But he's had the guys working not just on computer skills. He's shown them basic electricity. How do you know if this outlet is live or not? They installed Seriously, this is the coolest thing. Wow. They installed an exhaust fan in one of our restrooms at the Mission, and he taught them how to do that. Shade tree mechanics. How do you work on some brakes? All kinds of great information to help these men gain self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And whether it's through our agency or networking with other agencies in the community, that's crucial to helping them move forward in their lives.
Job training, is that part of it?
We're working towards more job training. Mm-hmm. Men's Challenge works on that a little bit more, where we refer our men to. And so as we get ready to move into our new building, hopefully we're going to have more of those. You like that segue?
I do.
Well, and I've seen opportunities just in the short week that I've been there where former residents have come into the shelter and requested men that they knew had the kind of services to help do light maintenance on turning over apartments. Maybe they're painting and helping clean places up, and they say, we have some work. Are there folks here that are capable of doing these things that I can take out for the day and put to work?
Nice. Mm-hmm. A little training
They're
there.
They're giving back, too.
It's awesome. It's all awesome. Well, as you say, we are kind of giving a hint about a new building. We're going to find out more about that after these words. You're listening to Our Community.